Listen to the audiobook Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, Level A1, Oxford Reading University.
Part 1.
Robinson Crusoe was born in 1632 in the city of York, in England. His father wanted him to become a lawyer, but the boy didn't want that at all. He dreamed of going to sea. One day his father called him into his study. He wanted to have a serious conversation. "Being a sailor is very hard and dangerous," he said, "but if you stay at home, you will get a good job and live a happy, comfortable life." "But I want to go abroad," Robinson said. "I want an exciting life full of adventures." "Your mother and I are old and sick," his father said sadly. "Please don't leave us." Young Robinson didn't want to make his parents sad, so he decided to forget about his dream. However, he still couldn't think of anything but the sea. One day, Robinson met a friend in town. He was going to sail to London the next day. "Robinson, come with me," he suggested. "It will be fun." Robinson couldn't resist. And so, at the age of 19, he went out to sea for the first time in his life. Soon a strong wind blew. The waves got high and moved the ship from side to side. Robinson got sick and very scared. "I don't want to die," he thought. "Please, God, if I live, I will return home and never dream about the sea again." The next day, the water was quiet again. What a terrible storm it was, Robinson told his friend. "A storm?" the young man laughed. "It was just a little wind." They went to have a drink together. Soon, Robinson forgot his fears. The sea was safe and beautiful again, so he decided not to go home. 2. Robinson spent a few days in London. In a pub, he met the captain of a big ship. He was strong and healthy, and told exciting stories about his adventures. The man invited Robinson to sail to Africa with him. It was an amazing opportunity, so Robinson happily agreed. They sailed for many days. When they were already close to the African land, some pirates noticed them. The pirates sailed to the ship and attacked the crew. After a long, difficult fight, the Englishmen lost their ship and became prisoners. The pirates sold everybody for slaves at a slave market, except Robinson. The pirate captain decided to keep Robinson for himself because he was young and strong. For 2 long years, Robinson worked as a servant. But one day he got lucky and managed to escape. He joined a ship's crew and went to Brazil. There he met an owner of a big sugar plantation. Robinson lived with him for a while and learned a lot about planting. Soon he bought his own plantation. "A new life is about to begin for me," he thought. Robinson lived in Brazil for 4 years. He became a successful planter. One day, a friend invited him to sail to Guinea for gold and slaves. Things were going really well for Robinson, but he missed adventures. And so, in 1659, he gave up his comfortable life again. And again he went out to sea to meet the biggest challenges of his life. 3. On the 12th day of their journey, a terrible storm began. For another 12 days and nights, the wind and the rain didn't stop. 3 men were washed overboard by the enormous waves. The others couldn't do anything and let the wind carry the ship. Robinson expected to die every second, same as the rest of the crew. One morning, a sailor shouted, "Land!" There was finally some hope. But the next moment, the ship hit some sand under the water and stopped. The wild sea broke the ship over, making holes in its sides. The men were very scared. Quickly, they brought a boat down and got off the ship. But the waves were high and wild, and soon the boat turned over. The next moment, everybody was far away from the boat and from each other. Huge waves rose over Robinson's head and covered him with crashing noise. He didn't even have the time to hold his breath. After a long while, the water carried him to the shore. When he felt solid ground under his feet, he cried, "I'm alive! Dear God, thank you for saving me from my grave." And then he remembered about his friends. They will rest in the sea forever, he thought. Slowly he got to his feet and walked up the shore. He looked out to sea and saw the ship lying on its side. "I'm alive, but I'm alone in a strange land," he realized. "I have no food, no clothes, and no weapons to hunt or protect myself from wild animals. All I can do is choose the way I want to die, because surely I won't live long." But he was too hungry and tired to think clearly, so he climbed a tall tree and fell asleep. 4. When Robinson woke up the next morning, he saw that his ship was very close to the shore. He went into the sea and swam toward it. A small piece of rope was hanging from one side of the ship. Robinson caught it and pulled himself up on the deck. It turned out that most of the food was dry. Robinson was very hungry, so he sat down and had a good meal. Then he thought, "How can I take some of it back to the shore?" He looked around and saw some pieces of wood. He tied them together with a rope and made a raft. Then he put everything he needed on it: food, water, some tools, rope, sails, paper, books, knives, and weapons. Robinson successfully sailed back to the shore on the raft. Then he went up a small hill and looked around. Bad luck, he thought. He realized that he was on a small island. There was only the sea around him for miles and miles. On the island, he couldn't see any people or wild animals, just many different birds. Robinson started exploring the land. Soon he found a small cave in the side of the hill. He used wood, rope, and the ship's sails to build a little tent in front of it. Then he put all his food in the cave, which he now called his kitchen, and went to sleep in his new home. The next day, Robinson decided to protect his home with a fence. He cut down many young trees and made wooden stakes with sharp ends. Then he stuck the stakes into the ground around his house and tied them together with a rope. It is very tall and strong, he thought. Neither a man nor an animal can get through it or over it. Robinson had to return to the ship every day to get himself more food and tools. After his 12th visit, there was a terrible storm. The next day, the ship was destroyed completely. "I'll probably have to live here for a long time," he thought sadly. "During all these days, I haven't seen a single ship in the sea. But I'm alive, and I have food and tools. There aren't any people to talk to, but at least nobody will kill me." Then he made a huge cross with 2 pieces of wood. On the top piece he cut with his knife, "I came here on the 30th of September, 1659. After that, he started making a cut for every single day. 5. As time passed, Robinson began to get used to his new life. He made a fishing pole and caught a lot of fish. He built himself a table and a chair and went for a walk with his gun every day. Sometimes he managed to shoot a bird or a small animal. There were goats on the island, and Robinson learned to hunt them. Now he had meat and fur. He also had some books, so he read at night before going to sleep. Several weeks later, he went to explore the island. He found a little river and a beautiful green opening in the hills. There were lots of fruit, flowers, and birds. Robinson started going to that side of the island often. Every day he learned something new. He built a ladder and made many pots for cooking or keeping food in. Then he made candles out of goat fat. He learned to dry food in the sun, so he always had meat, even during the rainy months when he couldn't hunt. Once Robinson found a little bag with corn grain. The sailors used it to feed the chickens. However, now it was spoiled and he couldn't eat it, so Robinson threw it away. A month later, he noticed little green stalks not far from his tent. It was corn. 6 months later, he had his own little cornfield. He was very excited. "Maybe I can make bread," he thought. However, it was years before he could eat his first bread. At first, Robinson planted his grain in the dry season, and it didn't grow. But he learned from his mistakes. He figured out which months were dry and which were rainy and good for farming. The next year, his field was much bigger. He also built a fence around it to protect it from animals. 6. One day, Robinson went to the other side of the island. He stood on the shore, looking out to sea. The day was clear, and he saw land very far away. He didn't know if it was another island or what part of the world it could be. But anyway, he decided to explore it. In order to get there, Robinson had to build a boat. It was a lot of work. He cut a huge tree and spent months making a long hole in it. And then he realized his terrible mistake. The boat was too heavy. He wasn't able to get it to sea. Then he had an idea. "I cannot bring the boat to the sea," he thought, "but I can dig out a canal. This way, I will bring the water to the boat." But then he understood that it was impossible. "I don't have anyone to help me with the canal," he realized. "If I do it by myself, it will take me at least 10 years. In the end, he had to give up the idea, and it made him very sad. In the middle of all this work, he finished his 4th year on the island. 2 years later, he finally made himself a smaller boat. But it wasn't safe for a long journey, so he never tried to leave the island. "God has saved my life, and he will never leave me," he told himself. "I have no one to talk to, but also I have no enemies. I am far away from the world's troubles, safe and alone in my home, where I have everything I can enjoy." Sometime later, Robinson built a little tent on the other side of the island. He brought some of his food and tools there. Now he had 2 homes. His clothes were worn out, so he learned to make new clothes from dead animals' skins. Later he noticed that he didn't have a lot of gunpowder left. "What will I eat if I can't shoot goats?" he thought in fear. Then he had an idea. There was a little field not far from his tent. Robinson built a high fence around it. Then he caught a couple of goats and put them in the field. At first the goats were afraid of him, but Robinson gave them good food, and little by little they became less scared. Finally, the goats got used to their new situation and felt quite comfortable around their owner. After a while, Robinson got more goats. He learned how to milk them, and soon he had milk to drink every day. Later, he even started making cheese and butter from that milk. He worked hard every day to make his life on the island comfortable, and so many years passed. 7. One day, as Robinson was walking along the shore, he noticed a strange mark in the sand. It was the footprint of a man. Robinson looked around and listened. There was nothing. He rushed back to his house. "Someone is on the island," he thought in fear. "Is he one of those wild cannibals? What if he's not alone? What if they saw me? Then they will kill me and eat me. Oh God, I've spent so many years on this island without talking to anyone, and now I'm afraid of meeting people." That night, Robinson couldn't sleep. The next day, he put even more wooden stakes around his house and prepared all his guns. But no one came that night, nor the days and nights after that. Robinson's life continued just as usual. 2 years passed. One day he went to walk along the shore on the other side of the island. There he saw a terrible scene. There were signs of a big fire, and many pieces of human bodies around it. Robinson felt sick. Then he realized the wild men from the other islands often fight with each other. Then they bring their prisoners to my island to kill them and eat them. He went back home, being rather angry than scared. How could men be so cruel? No, it was impossible. For a long time, the wild people kept coming to the island and then leaving in their boats, but Robinson never saw them. Then one day, in his 23rd year on the island, he saw smoke rising above the island.
Stay with us for part 2.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to not miss our new audio series. And now, check out this absolutely amazing story.